Welcome back to day 126 of our chess journey to 1500 ELO on chess.com. Let's just jump on ahead here, find an opponent, and get some more ELO today. Well, hopefully, I guess. We'll have to see if we crush our opponent Mr. Bix or not. Mr. Bix here comes from Indonesia. First I thought it was Poland, but I guess the flags might be similar. If you watched the channel for a while, I think you might be familiar with, well, me not quite knowing all the flags, but we'll get there, I guess, eventually. The Baltic defense here, this is something I'm not at all familiar with. I don't expect this to be the move that we should play here. Although it very well might. Let's see, this, and then what? If we come out here, this becomes a threat of a fork. But that's going to be dodged though, so I don't necessarily think that's all that good. I think we might have faced this before actually, but not quite sure there. Not quite sure. But honestly, let's just take. This is probably not all that bad. This, and the queen has to move. And obviously it's not going. Yeah, I guess we just hit the queen with tempo here. And our opponent is down one central pawn. And I think we should be in an okay spot. The move there took quite some time to make, simply because I don't feel all that confident in this position I'm noticing. It's quite unfamiliar to me. First thing I'm noticing here is this pawn is weak, and this move might be on the agenda. Steering down here, and well, this might be played in response, and we might just have a steering contest with the queens. Although I was looking at this in response, but I don't see a whole lot there. So let's say this is played and our opponent goes here. We don't want to get taken there because this, and we have double isolated pawns. That's never going to be good. So let's say we come up here and our opponent drops back. Do we have anything else? I don't see it yet, so we'll delay the thought here, and we might just develop in the center here. Was what I was going to say, but I was about to drop the pawn because of the pin. Yeah, let's not do that, and instead let's come out with the... Honestly, let's come out with the knight. This took a bit too long, but I don't quite feel familiar here with the position. Our opponent's knight comes out. Now we could come here, hold this. This might be good. Honestly, let's just play this quickly. Setting up some X-ray stuff against the queen. It's never going to be bad. Don't want to spend too long, after all. The queen could come here now, target this pawn. And then we can't come here because of our opponent's bishop. Or can we? No, we can't go here either because knight controls this. So is this a move? Alternatively, I'm looking at this. If this is played, we come here. If knight comes out, this pawn is kind of hanging. Do we have to push the pawn? I don't quite love pushing the pawn though. Is this a move? This might be good. Could look to come in here maybe, push the pawn. This doesn't look all that bad. Defending this, hitting the queen, does a whole lot. If the queen comes here or here, we have this, hitting the bishop as well as the queen. The queen comes out here. How do we respond? Now I think we have this move, because the queen can't come back here and defend the pawn, as it could have done otherwise. Here, this pawn is defended by the knight, so that's no problem. If we come here, this could be a move. Simply because we can't take here, and this knight would be hanging if we move the queen. But I still think this looks good. We come out and hit stuff. I don't see why we wouldn't go for it. And now this allows us to bring the bishop out here as well, and potentially hit the queen once again, if we should want to. The rook is open. This pawn has to move at some point. Maybe here, and open up the bishop, so we can castle kingside. Our opponent is still a ways away from castling here. The bishop comes in here, which, well, it's an intriguing idea, I guess. Is it a threat, though? Yeah, it does actually defend this pawn here, as well as hitting this knight. So it's a multi-purpose move, and our opponent kind of threatens to capture here and capture here. So it's definitely a resourceful move by our opponent. However, is there a however here? Let's have a look. I was looking at this, but then this becomes annoying and we can't capture with the queen. This bishop move here was actually surprisingly annoying, I have to say. I'm looking at this response here. Our opponent wants to defend this, I would expect, so the bishop comes here maybe, hitting our queen and defending this square. Do we have anything here? I guess we don't have a lot here, but at the same time we get rid of the annoying bishop positioning. This has to be played because, well, this here would be annoying. Let's calculate this line. What is our approach here? Do we have this? It's probably not bad, to be honest. Probably not all that bad. If this is played, well, then we can come here. So here, I guess, our opponent is... they might play this. Then yeah, we'll take it from there, I guess. We'll start off with this move. Position is quite complex, though. Definitely not an easy one. This is already a threat. Our opponent's bishop rather, they play the expected move. And now I'm kind of interested here. Do we have this move? No, we don't. So what I was looking at just now was this move. If this is played, I guess we just move out of the way. But we do have to keep our defense of the knight. I think we'll come up here. The position here has become a bit more complex than I would have liked for it to be. But it's not the end of the world, I don't think. If this is played, we could take, and our opponent has to defend the rook. But we get this, which was expected. Now, importantly, we have to defend the knight. So, as for our moves, I think this has to be played, so we defend the pawn. But then this is a fork, so maybe not. So I guess maybe this, but then this, and we lose the knight. So, well, I think I might have missed some stuff here. Might have to play this though, so this pawn can't be taken because of this threat down here. Let's say we come here, defend the knight. What happens if this is played? Then we come in here, I guess, with the fork, and we should be quite happy. So let's drop back. We might see a repetition here though, in which case I don't actually think we have a better move than repeating. But we'll have a look, and we might find something, but don't quite know though. Don't quite know. Doesn't look like we have all that many responses, but this is played. Now this pawn is hanging. Honestly, there might be this move, but let's play principled chess instead. Play this, prepare some development. Only thing is this pawn here hangs along the diagonal once we develop the bishop. There is an interesting idea here though, which is this move, but not immediately I guess, because here it kind of drops this, which is not ideal. But after we play this, we might have this, and maybe force our opponent away from castling. Goes this, and the queen has to move. And once we have this, the king can't castle here at least. Well, the rook could capture, and we might have something else. What does this accomplish? This, well, I genuinely can't tell. My intuition here is this, applying pressure here and here. But, well, I guess the bishop kind of opens up here, so that doesn't work. We can't come here. The knight is threatened. What happens here and here? Not any good stuff. Nothing to write home about. So, well, the knight is hit, has to move, can't go here or here. So I guess our only move is coming back. A bit too passive for my liking, but we have to make a compromise here. And the knight has to come back. This knight here is hit. Do we have to bring this back as well? Well, we might have to. But that's not too bad though, because this is already blocked off. So once we come back here, well, this isn't ideal. I was thinking, oh well, we can defend like this, but maybe we come here and go here. Because this doesn't work, loses a piece. Can't come here. This. Well, obviously we could mess up our pawn structure and keep this threat. You know what? Let's do it. Probably not losing. It's just going to add some complications, which might be interesting, as we might have an open file here and we do still have our pressure. This isn't necessarily all that bad. And if this is not played, our next move, 99% certain to be this move here. Preparing castling and of course defending the knight. We get a6. And well, let's not... Ooh, I was going to say let's not stall, but we could force the bishop off first. This is actually quite good. This forces our opponent's bishop off the board. As it forks this, the queen has to move. What happens here though? Oh, this is annoying actually. If takes, we don't have an in-between move. We have to take like this, and I guess we'll be playing with pawn structures like this maybe, but I think it favors our opponent maybe. Although it might be difficult to say. We could bring our bishop out here, but the queen comes to this square, which I don't quite mind. Although I'm realizing here we might have a fun in-between move in some way, or maybe not. We can't quite hit the queen. Yeah, I really wanted for this or this to work. It doesn't though. So let's just pick up the bishop. Well, we still can. This loses the pawn. So the queen has to capture. And then we can't come up with the bishop here yet because it drops our own pawn. Still some complications to work out, but it's not the end of the world. We could play e4 here. Might be an option. But I'm seeing a more interesting move here, which is rook to c1. Setting up stuff against the queen, hopefully forcing it off the diagonal so we can move our bishop. So let's go for it. This seems interesting. Queen can't go here or here because of the knight, can't go here because of the pawn, can't go here because of, well, this, so our opponent might just keep the queen there, to be honest, but it's going to probably not work out in the long run because of this. But also here, our opponent wants to defend the pawn, of course. So we get this move, after which this will be the pawn structure. Okay, so do we want to allow this immediate change of the pawn structure? Is it good or bad? I think we have to take. Yeah, let's take. So we have the bishop here. Our opponent has a slightly worse pawn structure, although it's not all that bad. This might be a target for the time being, but it might also not be. We can't bring this knight here up, although this, and we could jump in here, which would be quite annoying. this, and there's this move though. And we can't come in here and be annoying either. Or can we? Let's see, this is there, this maybe? Just hitting the stuff here and being, well, as I mentioned, annoying. Maybe, but let's not start off with those ideas maybe. Or well, I guess we'll start off with this actually. To disallow this bishop from coming out here. And then we'll play this bishop out to one of those squares. We'll castle, and we'll have quick counterplay down the c-file. And pressure, and I don't think I mind the following position. This is most likely the best move by far. This or this. I don't think it matters all that much. We'll play quickly and control e4, I guess, so the knight can't jump around all over the place. Castles, rook, rook, doubling up here, coming in, applying pressure. This should be all good. We've kind of finished with all the complications from earlier on, and now it's all about applying pressure. This, there is this. No, it's no. We don't want to lose our rook to the bishop. That's a bad idea, as a matter of fact. But how about, no, we can't go here either. I was looking at this, so maybe bishop here would have been better because we could have gone like this. And this pawn can't be pushed, and it's not all that easily defensible. Can't come here. So I guess we'll double up first in a more defensive manner. But not here because of the bishop coming to b4 potentially, so we'll come here, I guess. We can play this, and we should have control over the file. Because our opponent doesn't have a piece apart from the rooks, controlling c8. This can be played, after which we'll have this outpost potentially. This knight jump threatens this pawn here, but we could just push, and then what? We could get checked. Oh, wait a second, that's maybe dangerous. No, it's not. We'll come here. If this is played, we just move over. If we're checked, we come here, and our stuff is still defended. This knight has to come back. Then we'll play rook to c1. And I think I like this position quite a lot. Our light squared bishop here is in a fantastic spot. As it stares down here. The most fantastic square here would have maybe been this if we could have gone there, because it would have stared down at this pawn, x-rayed the rook here, as well as controlling this, so there is maybe back rank stuff going on. This is an interesting move for sure. I don't feel like it threatens us a whole lot. Might just set up some stuff here if this and we go here. I guess might be our opponent's idea. But honestly, I'm seeing a nice way of being annoying here. We don't need the bishop on d3 for the time being, I think. We could come around here and this pawn. A knight can't come here because of our pawn. This could be played though, which could be slightly annoying. But takes, and we have takes. So it can't be played yet, at least. is this immediately. Okay, the knight jumps in, taking advantage of us vacating the square. Actually a bit more annoying than I expected it to be. Do we move this bishop or not? I think we'll move it back. Still, we might have this, but then there might be f5 maybe. Don't quite know. But this and pawns like this might not be good. At least I don't think so. This bishop would like to trade it off for our own, but I don't want to double pawns to do it. This might still be a move. It's played. We can't go here, I think. So most likely we'll go here. Threaten a knight trade. Most likely the knight won't take, but if it does, I definitely don't mind either. We do get knight takes, and this isn't ideal because of this. So I think we have to take with the bishop. But then we might come out here, which would be potentially a killer move. This, and we come here. This looks quite strong. And if rook takes, we just take. But this knight maneuvers around, wants to come in here again, I guess. We will come down here, and the bishop looks fantastic. The rook has to move, and once it moves, I think we'll be playing here, applying pressure. And yeah, I don't think that's bad at all. The rook comes here though, which, well, this is slightly annoying, but we could come in here, preventing the pawn push, in which case I think the bishop is even better positioned. Was what I was going to say, but there is this. How about just coming here first? And if this is played, we just have to come back. And well, we don't quite get the ideal setup, but I do still think our position is okay. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I'm aware our time here is not ideal. Our time situation, we're down by almost 10 minutes. Now this knight is kind of semi-dominated by the bishop. This move is played, we'll come back. And this might be annoying now, because the pawn is pushed. So d6 is weak. Still, our opponent can't play here because of our control. So I think we have a much better position. It's just a matter of converting with our time. Don't quite know what we want to do about our A and B pawns. There might be some movement in some way at some point. Currently, I think we might just keep them on A2 and B2. As I mentioned, I might like this idea. Don't quite know what this previous move does. Probably not a whole lot. You know what? Let's play the pawn up. Handing the move back to our opponent. And killing off ideas of ever coming down here. Also prevents this pawn push, which could be annoying in some positions. Okay, so this is played. Here, here. We will go here, I guess. Kind of cement our bishop here, but this might be played. Which, well, it does look a bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Also, I do like this, actually. And here if takes, then takes. The position is, well, a bit simplified, and I think we're still in a better position. I think we'll come in here. Knight here is dominated by the bishop, and it controls d1, so there is never this move. The rook can come here though, which, well, it does look a bit annoying. If it goes there, maybe this, I think, and if takes, then takes, and I still think we have a preferable position. But that's mostly because of the piece activity, though. We don't really have a strong material or positional advantage in terms of pawn structure, so well, this is played, which is interesting. The knight wants to remaneuver. How about this? Looking to play the other rook to c7. But now we can't get it there because of the knight. Guess we'll come here. Pressure this pawn. Still, this is a move, in which case we'll play this as a response. We could push here, of course, and well, this is not all that bad for us. The knight jumps in here, potentially looking to get into this outpost. What happens here? Don't love it. I'm not McDonald's here. I'm not loving it. I guess we'll go here, prevent this. If this is played, we could close this down, but there is this potential pawn push at an opportune moment. But this is played. This. We can't come here and hit the pawn. This, and there is this outpost. Guess we'll take. Could we come here now? Hit the b pawn. Well, it could be pushed, which it is. Then we could come here, hit it again. This wins a pawn if it's pushed. But well, it's currently defended though because of the knight and the rook, but now it's not. Now this hangs. Let's come here, we'll be trading off some material. This, and I think we'll be going here in fact. And the rook can't defend this pawn. Importantly, there is still this, so that's not an issue. we get this, which is actually better for our opponent than what I calculated. But still, I think we have this. We'll come in from behind. This might be played, or there might be a check. If we're checked, we're going here, but this is played. Now let's come here, because this and this is a checkmate threat. So our opponent has to respond here. And we get our bishop active. It is spotted, and surprisingly I guess, but still I think this is not all that bad. Guess we'll come here, prepare to get the king up. This pawn here isn't going anywhere for the time being. Our bishop still dominates the knight. Let's bring the king up. Well, it doesn't. The knight jumps here. Never mind. Well, we could come here still. I think I prefer this. Controls more squares from the knight, and don't think it looks like a bad position. Now the rook can move though, because the knight defends the pawn, but we could come here as well and pressure the pawn. Which it appears we will do. There might be this. That's actually annoying. I guess we might trade the f pawn for the a pawn. Can't come here, so this pawn is not possible to defend. Let's come here. We'll get taken. This pawn might actually fall as well, but no, this falls like this. Let's move the king up. Honestly, this looks like a likely draw here, but we might still have something to play for. We'll just have to see. Let's come here. Apply some pressure. The knight jumps and we're forked. Oops. Didn't see this. This is horrendously bad. Should lose the game in fact, but let's hope we can trade down to rook versus rook and knight perhaps. In which case we might still have a draw on our hands. Don't quite know what the technique is here though for us. We don't have a whole lot to do. Kind of taking away some squares here, but This isn't all that easy, I don't think. I guess we'll just have to play and respond to our opponent's moves. Now we have to defend the pawn. Because of this threat here. So currently all of our pieces are tied down. Now they're not. I think we were in Zugzwang. Yeah, but it's not forced. We'll come here. What does our opponent intend to do? The rook comes over. Let's go here, I guess. Hit the knight. It comes back in. This is forced once again to defend the pawn. What I thought was good here was something like, I guess, just coming up here and forcing stuff off, and it's played. I think our opponent here has identified our horrible position. This loses to a fork, so we'll have to come here. Only actual move we can play in the position. Because we could still come here, but if this square is taken away from us, or well, both squares, if they are taken away, might be quite bad. But this push here was unexpected. Still, we have this. We can just come up and down, but the king comes up, and this might just be the nail in the coffin. Eventually, at least. I guess we'll be coming up and down here, or here. This is played. Let's take. We'll fall back. So this doesn't come as a threat against our rook. We're still down a piece here, not ideal, but I'm hoping we're able to swindle a draw, potentially. Can we check from behind, maybe? Of course we have to move this rook, though. Let's come here. If this is played, we come back. Our f2 pawn here is our biggest weakness for the time being. A mental note here, this pawn is not defended. This is a creative way here of attacking the pawn, cutting off our rook. I did not see this at all. Can we create some counter threats? We can't push. And this might actually be lights out, but we'll still give it a chance. Try and create some issues from behind here. Although this is, of course, a desperate attempt at holding the game. Can't go here. Or be forced back. Guess we might be. Even this becomes annoying, I guess, but still we might have some chances here. Let's go here first. It forces the king back, as it can't go here, here, or here. Then we might threaten this pawn here. As I did mention, I think if we get a rook versus a rook and a knight, we should be in a drawn endgame. We're checked. Yes, we'll be coming up. The knight checks us. Let's come here, I guess. This might be played just to give an arbitrary check. And in response, I guess we'll come here. And then the knight can't check us. Although this can, but takes, and that's not all that bad. Does this not win this pawn? I think it does. Importantly here, if we win this pawn here as well without losing our rook, we are probably in a drawn endgame. We're not playing for a win here whatsoever, not happening, but if our opponent here blunders one more pawn, we might just have some chances. The f5 pawn is important here. But what's our best approach here? I think maybe coming behind once again and playing like this. The knight jumps in. We can't go here because of this. But we're in check, of course. Can't go here. Maybe this. Being annoying towards the rook. Or maybe not. I guess we'll go here. Don't love this and don't love this, but we're not spoiled for choices, so we'll just have to play something. Oh, it's checkmate. Oh, that's a really fun checkmate. King covers this, the pawn is covering this, knight covers this, and the rook comes here. I did not see this at all. Well, we lost today. I'll go on ahead and thank our opponent, Mr. Biggs. Thanks for the game. 2 blunders today. Let's go through the moves and see how we should have played differently. So, what does the evaluation say? We played with 82.2 and our opponent played with 86.6. 5 inaccuracies, 3 mistakes, 1 miss and 1 blunder. We played with 1900, our opponent played with 2100. Let's go through the moves. This was all good for us. Plus 2.4. Apparently this was great immediately. I didn't quite identify that as quickly, but we did so eventually, I guess. This wasn't the best move, I guess, probably because of the best move being as good as it was, but it was the 3rd best move still. So we got this, still all good. This was not the best approach, I guess. If I were to play this again, is this best? Not quite. Apparently it's... Oh, there we go. It's rook to c1. Didn't feel natural to play here, but I guess it does activate a piece, of course, but it still doesn't quite tackle our castling issues. This, and we're kind of back to equality here, but still this is a decent position. This should have been played. It was the best move, and we should have opened up here. We got this, got the bishop. This was all good. Should have apparently went here. Computer doesn't love our decentralized knight. Should not have castled rather, should have come back, but why should we not have castled? Was this an idea maybe? it's actually not all that bad. But well, this was played. We got to this position. All good. This was good. This was actually really good. Here we should have went for this and gotten the bishop this way and went back this way like this. But we got this. What should we have played here? This move? Really? I guess it does make sense, of course, in hindsight, but hindsight is not always the kindest. Oh, this was... Oh, wow. That's a massive blunder. But honestly, it could have gotten scary. This, and there is this. This, and... This is not easy at all to evaluate. This is a move. Oh, really? Oh, because this is still pinned. But anyways, should have maybe spotted it. Should have probably spotted it. Because if takes here, we take. Takes. If this is played, there's this, and no problems at all. So we did get some chances here, but didn't quite have enough time to sort it out. Didn't quite blunder the position though, just blundered a draw, at least at this point. This is a bad move. Should have went here, or pretty much anywhere apart from what we did, because there was a fork here and we allowed it by moving the rook away. So well, we got here, and from this point on it was just a matter of maybe saving the draw. We had a lot of moves, the position changed up. I did think we have some chances here because we got one pawn, but there was this checkmate in the middle of the board, which I didn't spot, and we lost the game by means of checkmate. We should have went here apparently, and this pawn is most likely lost here. Yeah, not a whole lot we can do here. But anyways, I think it was a nice game. Did make a couple of mistakes, but still I did enjoy the game. So once again, thanks to our opponent Mr. Bix from Indonesia. Thanks for watching to the end of the video, guys. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.